Hello, I'm Kate Freeman, and this is the Daily Dollop. On this episode of the Daily Dollop, I'm going to give you 10 tips on how to beat your afternoon sugar cravings. Well, thanks for tuning into the Daily Dollop show today. My name's Kate Freeman. I'm a registered nutritionist and the founder of the Healthy Eating Hub. And fun fact about me is that my very first car was a Ford Laser, 1985. It was a Ghia, Ford Laser Ghia. That means top of the line. It had beige suede interior. It was excellent. And it had a choke, which lets extra fuel into the engine to help it start on cold mornings. And I had a friend growing up in high school who was from just a slightly wealthier family than mine. And so I had my 1985 Ford Ghia with my choke. When I started driving in the 90s, the late 90s, 2000. When did I start driving? 2001. And she had a reasonably new car that her parents bought her. So she didn't have a choke, and I remember driving her somewhere and I'm trying to start the car on a cold day with the choke, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This is a choke. This is what old people do." So anyway, that was my first car. I loved that car. And yeah, there you go. I feel like first cars are really special. I'd love to know what your first car is. So message me on Insta, KF Nutrition. I'd love to know. Well, on with the show today, where we're talking about sugar cravings. And sugar cravings is something that a lot of people over the years have chatted to me about that really bothers them, because they feel like it's really derailing their efforts with healthy eating. And particularly from a weight loss perspective, their sugar cravings are meaning that they're not creating the energy deficit required to lose weight, and so they're just having really poor success with creating that energy deficit and then, of course, getting results. And the problem is that sugar is delicious. Like sweet foods, sugary foods, they taste really good. They work as a pick-me-up, like they do give you energy as they're digested and absorbed. The sugar levels increase in your bloodstream and you're like, "Oh, great, okay, got some energy." They're associated with reward and celebration, yet we spend a lot of time trying to avoid them because, we're told that sugar is bad for our health and it's a terrible thing, and of course isn't helpful when it comes to weight management. Now, all of those things are true to an extent, that too much sugar leads to poor health outcomes. Certainly a high intake of ultra-processed sugary foods makes weight loss difficult because it's really hard to create an energy deficit when you're eating those foods just because of how energy dense they are. But in terms of the way sugar is spoken about these days on social media and online and in different articles and commentary, is that it's toxic and poisonous. And just the other day, someone commented on an article I post saying that sugar was tantamount to poison. And whenever I hear someone say that, it just shows me how ignorant they are of basic biochemistry, because sugar isn't poison. It's a nutrient. It is broken down through a biochemical process called glycolysis in your body. And that process creates a chemical called ATP, which is the energy currency of your body. So sugar is broken down, it releases energy, it's a normal part of our physiology. Healthy foods get digested, broken down into individual sugars and absorbed. That is what is supposed to happen to fuel our bodies. Your bloodstream is tightly regulated to have a sugar concentration of 5 to 6 millimolars per litre, and complex biochemistry and hormones and metabolism tightly regulates that. You store sugar in your liver and muscles in the form of glycogen, there as a quick energy source for fight or flight, survival, exercise, fasting, right? And if you don't actually consume enough carbohydrates, so there's a lack of sugar in the bloodstream, there's another chemical process called gluconeogenesis where your body creates sugar for itself to use for energy. So it's not poison. Now, look, I'm not going to get into an argument, because that's what it is online, about whether sugar is addictive or not. I don't particularly like hearing sugar being connected to hard drugs or being treated the same as drugs, because, drugs, yeah, they're 100% addictive and they cause major mental health issues and they're illegal for a reason. But sugar is not like that, and you can live without drugs. You can't actually live without this energy in your bloodstream. And some people who believe that you can, again, are showing their ignorance about how physiology works. And sugar is actually found in nearly all foods. And so you actually can't avoid it, and neither should you. So check out my sugar episode for more about that. But the thing is that although whether it's addictive or not, sugar is connected to feelings and psychology. It absolutely is. And to ignore that would also be ignorant, because it's associated with reward and celebration. We use it to manage difficult emotions like stress or distress or disappointment and sadness. And it does, in the short term, make us feel better. I know I prepared this episode eating lemon slice. I've had a really tough week. Some things have gone down that have been really challenging, and I'm feeling low and tired. And I thought really deeply about it. And there's a cafe down the bottom of my work that sells lemon slice, and it's so yummy. And I thought about it for a good 15 minutes, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go get a piece of that, and I'm going to write my episode on beating sugar cravings while I eat lemon slice. But just to make a point about the fact that there is a psychological connection to eating sweet foods. I enjoyed that lemon slice. Did it solve my emotional issues? No. I still actually feel tired and low, and I'm looking forward to having a break over the weekend. But I don't feel guilty or terrible about that sugar craving, nor has it spiraled me into inflammation or poor health. So what I want to talk about from a sugar craving perspective is, look, at the very bare minimum, if you are craving something sweet to eat, go and get yourself something sweet to eat. Like, if that is what you truly, truly want, just go and eat it. Enjoy every single mouthful and then move on. There are no rules. You are a grown adult. You can eat whatever you want. Be set free. In fact, restriction and restrictive behavior and creating rules is an inferior way to manage your food choices long term, and can often result in disordered thinking patterns, disordered eating patterns, and just challenges long term. So if you want something sweet to eat, 100% go and get something sweet to eat. If your sugar cravings are really derailing you to the point where you feel like, my body wants something sweet, but I actually don't want to eat the sweet thing, well, here's some tips to help you manage that. So I want to remind you that all of these tips, they need to happen in the context of there are no rules, right? As soon as you make a rule like I shouldn't be, I can't, it's not good for me to eat it, you will really struggle. So the context needs to be there are no rules. The first thing is to go and get a drink of water. Now you might be like, ugh, water, sugar, as if I'm going to do that. But what is a great way to think about it is, I'm going to go and get a big drink of water, see if that picks up my energy levels, see if that actually satisfies any sort of hunger feeling I might be feeling. And if after 15, 20 minutes I still feel the sugar craving, then I'm going to go and get something sweet. So you've allowed yourself to have the sweet thing, but you're just giving yourself a slight delay. Having a drink of water, meeting another potential physiological need that might be driving the craving, but still allowing yourself to have it if you feel like you still need it down the track. You might find that the majority of times that you don't need that. After dinner, I can sometimes crave something sweet and I go, I'm just going to have a cup of tea first. And once I'm finished that, if I still feel like something sweet, I'll go and grab myself something. Honestly, 9 times out of 10, I never go back and get something sweet. The tea is enough. The next thing is skipping meals or under eating. So sometimes your sugar cravings can be driven from not eating enough, particularly not eating enough throughout the day. So thinking tomorrow is making sure that you're eating enough so that you're not excessively hungry at the end of the day and your body's wanting a quick fix in something really sugary. The third thing is your food environment, so limiting the availability of sugary foods in your home. If there isn't chocolate or cake or different things available, you won't eat them. I often send ice cream home with the person who brought the ice cream, bring any excess chocolates to friends' houses so they get shared, just so they're not sitting around in my home all the time. However, you can't fully rely on that as the only way to not have sugar, because you also want to be cool with it being in your cupboard and there's chocolate there and you're like, I can eat it if I want it, but I don't really feel like it. But certainly there are times when your willpower might be really low and that these foods just not being in your house just means, I don't need to make that decision. They're just not there for me to eat. I'm going to move on with my day. The next thing is shopping mindfully, because then you're thinking, yeah, but when I'm at the shops, then I buy it. So shopping to a shopping list and a set meal plan can really help with that. It means that you don't end up buying, mindlessly as you're going through the supermarket. Being intentional about what you're eating is actually a really key part of creating a healthy environment around you. Number 5 is to keep healthy snacks on hand. Sometimes we're craving sugar because we're hungry, but we think, I shouldn't eat the chocolate, but then you've got no other options to eat, or you haven't thought of that in advance. Having healthy foods available, things that you enjoy eating, things that you know are going to fill you up and satisfy you, are all going to be super helpful to meet that hunger when it arises. Number 6 is distraction techniques. So finding other things to do. Get yourself out of the kitchen. I find that over the weekends when we get a little bit idle, people are wandering into the kitchen. I want something to eat. Might be sugar cravings. It might be cheese and crackers cravings, that kind of thing. Get out, go for a walk, go for a bike ride. Distract yourself, write down a list of different activities that you can do when you're starting to feel bored so that you know what to do as soon as that trigger occurs. Treating yourself with something else. This is about practicing non-food rewards. What are other things that you can do to help yourself feel good when you've had a tough day or you're celebrating that can be a reward for you? That's not food related. And that way, it doesn't mean you never can reward yourself with food. 100% that's cool to do. But you've just got a range of different things that you can do to reward yourself, make yourself feel good. Some of them are food related and some of them are non-food related. And just find a little bit more balance in that area. Number 8 is managing your stress and your mood levels. One of the biggest tips that they say with managing emotions, and I've been reading about this in kids, is helping the kids name the emotion. So if you're feeling something, name it. What are you feeling? Angry, sad, rejected, depressed, worried, afraid, anxious. Name the feeling, help yourself to process that. And if you're feeling like your mood and emotions are just running rampant, then go and get some professional help. I've said in other podcasts that sometimes focusing on dealing with the underlying issues can be a really positive step forward because your food choices are just a symptom of a deeper issue. Number 9 is being physically active. Get outside, go for a walk, like I said, a bike ride. See if you can build some physical activity into your day, particularly around times when you might feel prone to sugar cravings. It's just giving yourself something else that you can do. Often that activity can give you some endorphins and help you feel good. And it's just about building that into your routine and practicing. Make sure that it's something that you enjoy. If it feels like a chore, it won't work. Lastly is choose quality over quantity. I'm going camping this weekend. I've planned to eat chocolate. I've bought myself my favorite dark chocolate roasted almond chocolate. It's all about quality. I'm going to enjoy that bad boy. Just a couple of pieces with my tea over the next 2 nights in front of the campfire, and it's going to be amazing. I'm not going to feel the need to binge or overeat it because it's something that I love and enjoy. I'm going for quality. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Well, that's it for today, guys. Enjoy managing your sugar cravings. See it as something wonderful that you get to do to reward yourself at the end of a long day, and see if you can develop some healthy habits around that. If you're loving the show, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Leave me a review, let me know what you think, and we'll see you guys soon.